SupYoLo. SupYoLo.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the 8th episode of SupYoLo. Today I have playwright and prop designer Christian Plonka. Hey guys, Christian, it's great to have you on the show. I'm very glad to see you today.
Oh, great to be here. Really an honor to be on.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Where do you come from?
I grew up in Dearborn, which has a very, very nice theater background.
Were you involved in that theater background?
Yeah, Dearborn High School and the Dearborn Players Guild are the two mainstays of Dearborn by way of theater. Greg Viscomi, who runs the Dearborn High program, is one of the main graduates of the past 20 years over at U of M.
Okay.
And the Dearborn Players Guild is a nice little mainstay with Dearborn.
Awesome. Okay. When it comes to your playwright side of your career, where did that grow?
Well, from a very young age, I was read plays by my mom. She started with novelizations of Shakespeare when I was really young, and then she slowly introduced plays, and then because of getting into theater, that's what kind of married the two. I was raised on writing. I was raised on literature.
Okay.
And playwriting, I felt, was where I could find my voice when it came to writing.
And do you have a specific genre that you normally stick to?
I have a rather dark mind when I write. I don't always write the happiest things, but hey, you write what you know.
When it comes to your playwriting, have you done anything with that?
Well, there have been two major pieces. I wrote one piece not too long ago called Mother's Day, which was done as a staged reading in Plymouth. It was a private event for the administration. And lately, this guy and one of our friends, Preston, starred in a staged reading of another piece that I wrote called Baking Powder.
Beautiful piece.
The Gay Theater of Kalamazoo asked for it as a resubmission from that event to them.
Congratulations.
So that's on the horizon.
Now let's talk a little bit about your prop design experience.
Henry Ford College is a very immersive program when it comes to theater. If you act in it, you do the tech. You have to be immersed in all walks of theater, because without that, you won't have a healthy respect. If you're a tech person, you won't know what it's like to be an actor. If you're an actor, you won't know what it's like to be tech.
It's better to be well-rounded as well.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Exactly. From a young age, I acted over there because they needed some child actors, and I ended up really going full throttle on the tech side, and that included properties management and set construction. As of late, I worked for a wonderful woman, Jamie Warrow.
Beautiful woman. She is so incredible. All of her work is flawless. It's incredible.
Truly. I did sound design for her for a production of Alabama Story. Soon after that happened, she came to me again and was wondering if I could do properties design for her for Evil Dead Detroit.
Ooh, okay.
And after that offer, the rest was history. I'm currently going into my second season with Evil Dead Detroit.
Congratulations.
And I did actually bring some stuff to show you guys.
Do you guys want to see some of that?
This is the axe handle for the new axe this year. It's a bit of writer's block right now to think about what to do with it. A lot of the times when you're faced with something to do, you just need to wait for the prop to come out of the prop. You need to wait until you see it.
It's almost like an art project completely.
Exactly. One of the famous monologues from Evil Dead is, "This is my boomstick." It describes a double-barreled Remington with a walnut stock and cobalt blue steel. Due to other circles that I run in, I have the pleasure of getting a lot of toys donated my way because for some reason people think I need them.
Toys are fun.
It has really helped with this production. This is actually a cork gun from the 1940s.
Really? I never would have guessed.
And so this was one of my drafts. As a designer, when you're working for a director for the obvious hierarchy with theater,
Right.
you need to be able to bring in ideas, but you also need to be able to critique your own ideas. You need to
Very important.
You
Right.
need to be able to take criticism. This was an idea I had that once I got done with the paint job, I, for lack of a better word, shot it over to Jamie to see how she liked it. It read as too small, so I went ahead and got another thing out of my stock of items to start working on.
Okay.
Now, working under the same description, I found something that read larger, which means that it would translate to the audience as a larger piece.
Now we're talking.
This is what I came up with. Now, this is only after 1 day of hand painting. For props about this size, I normally delegate about 4 to 5 days of considerate work, and that's in installments of about 5 hours a day. This has another 15 hours of painting to
Wow.
go into it.
Do you normally like give yourself a mental break before you continue that process, or do you just continue to go right at it?
It's kind of like a lot of artists that I've heard interviews with on Broadway, they talk about the time you need. So no matter what, if your creative juices are flowing or not, you're going to sit down and work from this time to this time.
Right.
Of course that's flimsy because, you know, if you love what you do, if you end up getting the creative juices flowing, getting things going, you may work for 10 hours on a project, even
That's
though
true.
you set aside 5.
That's true.
So
It's all about the passion.
It's my way of saying, I'm gonna get this done if I like it or not.
Yeah.
And who knows, I may hit a gold mine, I may not, but I'm gonna get 5 hours of work done a day either way. And it usually averages to that 20 hours over 4 days per hand-painted piece.
Could you tell us a little bit about the show Evil Dead and when it's going to be coming?
Yeah. Evil Dead the Musical is a spoof on the famous Bruce Campbell films, the Evil Dead saga from, I believe it was the mid-1980s.
Right.
And it has a cacophony of fun quotes and different things. The main thing to look up is boomstick. What I showed you today. That is the root of some of the most famous lines in the show. When it comes to our production here in Detroit, it is very similar to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Totally.
It's a show that's commonly preserved over many renditions. It's a Detroit tradition. It's going to be coming every year to Detroit. And with Evil Dead, we fill up October with our own Halloween spirit.
Yeah, you guys really do. It's seriously like a huge event. If you want to see a great show, I would totally recommend checking out the link below and seeing when you can buy tickets and go to this show. You will not regret it.
Make sure to get your tickets soon. We have a cult following just like the movies. People will arrive at 1 p.m. for an 8 o'clock show because they want to get tickets in our trademarked splash zone.
What is that?
In the middle section of our theater, for about 8 rows, you'll see seats covered in garbage bags. And that's not because you can't sit in them.
Okay.
Those are seats for our splash zone. Per performance, we run about around 10 gallons of blood through a sump pump in wonderful comedic cheesy blood effects that are just, it makes for a wonderful fun night. This is down at Hockeytown in Detroit.
Right.
They have a theater, the City Theater, attached. And for those of you over 21, feel free to bring your drinks from the bar into the theater.
Nice, okay. For all of you guys, for our viewers, how can we find you, Christian?
The few companies to keep updated on are Evil Dead Detroit, Waterworks Theater in Royal Oak. They are a Shakespeare repertory theater that I work for each summer. U of D Theater for 1 more year. The Extra Mile Playwrights Theater. They are an emerging group out of Detroit that focus on social justice matters. Recently I did a project with them called Detroit 67. It was based around the initiative that the Detroit Historical Museum put out recently to get all of the oral histories about the 67 riots in.
Okay.
So, in conjunction with the Detroit Historical Society, this group of playwrights put together stories in the form of theater that they got from the Historical Society to truly honor what the riots were to Detroit.
That's awesome. Did that already happen, or is that still yet to come?
We workshopped it once, we performed it once, but we're still looking to actively present it in different events such as Light Up Livernois, which is coming up this winter.
Yeah, look out for that, guys. Keep an eye out.
And there's a contest happening in Detroit where different leaders of art in Detroit can present to a council their proposition to gain a space in Detroit and produce art with a fund from Detroit.
Sponsored art?
Exactly.
Nice.
Everything that comes out of Detroit has been truly beautiful, and it has been suffering under the stereotypes that people put on it. I heard this wonderful quote from Anthony Bourdain. It was about Detroit. He compared Detroit to a phoenix that rises from the ashes. That there is such beauty and such wonder in courage in adversity. That no matter what, Detroit will rise from whatever ashes that it crumbles into.
We will rise from the ashes.
Well, thank you so much, Christian.